G'day and welcome to the Thunder from Down Under podcast. I'm your host, Graham Solomon. And as always, I ask you to go to the Graham Solomon Thunder from Down Under YouTube channel, bash the subscribe button, hit the bell icon so you can join us live when we have special guests like we've got tonight. And if you're watching on Facebook, don't forget to comment, hit the love button, hit the like button to give our special guest a heap of warm, fuzzy feeling. So, without any further ado, I'm going to introduce a special guest. I get a chance to interview a lot of people on this program and a lot of products and stuff, but this one caught my eye. I spoke to this gentleman probably about a month ago about this, and I was blown away by it. So, I wanted to get him on the podcast and give you guys a look at what he's got out there. I think it's probably one of the most revolutionary products I've seen since I've been into the US real estate market. So without any further ado, I'm going to introduce the founder, which is Ken Singh, and he is the founder of Flipbid, which is what I think is the most complete real estate software that you can find. But don't listen to me. I'll get Ken to say hello, and then we'll have a chat about his amazing new product. G'day, Ken. Welcome to the podcast.
Thanks for having me, Graham. I appreciate it. Hi, everyone out there. Ken Singh, founder and CEO of Flipbid. Really excited to be here, Graham.
Ken, I spoke to you. You showed me this a while ago, and I was blown away. And like I said, I see a lot of products out there, but this one seemed to tick all the boxes. Now, what I'll do, generally I ask guests to come on and just give us a bit of a backstory. But you told me prior to coming on that you've actually got a bit of a slide thing where you can actually do that. So I'll leave it to you. I'll hand the floor over to you, and you can just tell us how Flipbid come about and the journey to get there from start to where you are now.
Yeah, thanks, Graham. So for those of you out there that are listening and have seen me on a previous podcast, we just launched about a little over a month ago. We've had a tremendous amount of positive feedback, a lot of downloads happening, and Graham is 150% right. This application, which is a real estate investment, networking, and data application, is very unique. I believe we pioneer something really special for you guys. And really the backstory about this, Graham, everybody asks, like, how did I get into this, right? Like, where did this come from? So my background's actually in software and technology. What a surprise. It wasn't in real estate. It was something that I just fell into because, to be quite honest with you, I needed a job, right? I needed to pay bills. And I had a customer support position to start with. And I had big city living dreams. So, coming right out of college, as everybody knows, you're not getting anything in New York City unless you got 3 or 4 roommates. So that's kind of where that started. My background's in software and technology. I worked with a lot of different technology companies. And my career grew over time. But instead of, telling you about it, if you guys like, we can go ahead and show you the Flipbid story. It's kind of fun, like I like to joke, you'll laugh, you'll cry. It's the feel good movie of the season.
Yeah, beautiful. Just before we jump into that, were you born and bred in New York, Ken, or did you move there at a certain period?
Yeah, great question. So I was 4 years old when my parents came here from India. Yes, my background's Indian. For those of you guys think I'm like Hispanic, I'm not. I had my fiance fooled when I first met her, and I said no, I'm Indian, and yes, and a lot of people, I guess they have a stereotype of how I'm supposed to look and act or speak. Obviously, I lost my native tongue because I was never really a native, right? I came here when I was 4 years old. My brother was 1. That was back in 1984. So, Yes, 100% raised in New York and Long Island.
Beautiful. Yeah, like when we met, that we hit it off straight away, an Aussie and a New Yorker. And I said to you, Ken, always love meeting New Yorkers and Texans because they're larger than life. And, Aussies can be like that a little bit too. So we always seem to, when I meet someone from Texas or New York, we always seem to hit it off. So we did that, and we had some good stories. And yeah, like that, the Big Apple, the heart of the world. So, take us into your story and show us how it all come about.
Yeah, definitely Big Apple, big city living. It has a lot to do with the story. So for those of you out there, you're in for a treat. I'm just going to go ahead and share my window and kind of get into the story. And I guess while we're doing this, Graham, feel free to stop me anytime or ask any questions.
Yeah.
But
Yep.
without further ado, I'll go ahead and share my screen. And so for those of you out there, this is the flip it story, right? And by the way, before you decide to turn off, this is not about technology. We're not going to bore you today, okay? Maybe a little bit at the end, but we really start off with just like how we came about, with this application, my background, what I used to do when I was young, and how I kind of fell into this, right? So the flip it story is really about creativity overall. It's also about creativity and the universe doing what it has to do. Just like a lot of other kids out there, I was into like building things, and I like to fix BMXs, and I'll take it way back. And Graham, I don't know if you guys had the GT Performers and the Dinos and the Red Lines back in the late 80s and 90s.
Yeah.
Those were the
Mongoose.
go-to BMXs.
Oh, the mongoose. Yep. Geez, that
Mongoose, yeah, big
Yeah, the
one. Yeah,
mongoose. Yeah.
Mongoose.
Yep.
Yeah, and we're everyone just riding around town and
Yep.
hanging out with the boys, right? So same thing, right? So I like fixing these bikes. I used to take the parts from one piece to another and take out the tires. By the way, I was doing this at the age of 11, so I was a little I guess advanced in fixing BMXs. So all of our friends used to come to me, but
Yeah.
then that kind of evolved into like other creative things, right? And I realized at a very young age, before 11, that I was really into art. That grew into something really cool. Like I used to collect comic books, just like a lot of kids did. I loved drawing superheroes. These are my actual drawings, but they were pretty close. If you looked at my drawings, Graham, you're gonna be like, "Wow, you got
Yeah.
talent. What happened?" So again, that was a very young age. I love drawing superheroes and collecting comic books. Again, being very creative. And for those of you out there who don't know, this is me. That is my DJ system. I love music. I love creating music, just like I love creating this product. That's my fiance back there, some of our friends in our kitchen island. And when Graham Solomon comes by, we're gonna make this happen as well, Graham. We're gonna turn up the tunes. So
I've heard some of your tunes. You sent me some of your tunes. So yeah, I was pretty impressed.
awesome. Yeah, so we'll keep the party going. But yeah, I always like to be creative. But as you know, Graham, once you get older, fixing bikes, collecting comic books, that's not paying the bills, right? You really got to get into the job market. So
Yeah.
graduated college, 2-year college. I never finished my 4-year degree, so I don't want to say something untrue. But right after 2-year degree, I decided, look, I needed to pay bills. I wanted to go ahead and get a job, so I moved out to the city, or actually traveled back and forth to the city for about a year. Then decided to move there, and I got my first position, and I was super excited about it. And I got into software at a very early age. I think I was like 20 years old at the time. But again, customer support, imagine that, right? You're 20 years old, customer support. How much do you think I was getting paid? $35,000 a year. And that barely covers our rent, right? So,
Yeah.
of course, we had roommates and such. And, I met a lot of fantastic people out there. Over time, my career grew into bigger and better positions, senior level positions, right? The companies got bigger, the paychecks got bigger. But at the same time, whether you're in one industry or not, there's something you're passionate about, and there's something that you do because you need to make ends meet, right? So it wasn't as fulfilling as my personality needed, and what I needed to be fulfilled, right? So I was always an out of the box thinker, and so like creativity was my passion from an early age. So I always had that in the back of the mind. But again, you have to keep continuing to work. And moving forward around 2009, a year before, there was a huge market crash. Everybody felt it. I'm sure you guys out there in Aussie land, right, heard about that. We know what
Yep.
happened with the whole mortgage-backed securities
Yep.
and companies filing for Chapter 11. Lehman Brothers, which is a huge investment bank, was one of my clients. I used to work for a company called TIPCO, which is a predictive analytics software solution company. And it's really hard, Graham, when you're in sales and you're trying to ask for budgets for $250,000 of software budget while the company's filing for Chapter 11. So guess what happened? the company starts downsizing. We started losing our clients, and I got fired, right? So, and then the banking sector started collapsing. Bear Stearns, there was, the collapse with Lehman Brothers, and this is where I met my COO. By the way, I don't know if you had a chance to meet him, Graham, but one day I'm very soon you will. His name is Phil Augustin. Phil became a good friend of mine over time, and he lost the job just around the same time we did because he was working at Bear Stearns, and we caught ourselves in Central Park where everyone else is going to work, tossing the football around. I'm like, that's it. What are we going to do with our lives, Phil? We don't know. We're jobless. We got to make our ends meet. So since then, we've been buds, and now moving fast forward, he's our COO of the company. So once like I said, you lose your job, and you got there's no more big city living after that. You got bills to pay, and just like a lot of us go through that, sometimes you have to say goodbye to what you anticipated would be the rest of your life, but you have to adapt, you have to pivot. So at that point, I decided to move back home with my parents. What was I going to do? I was obviously welcome with open arms, but obviously it's not the same thing moving with your parents when you have that freedom of living in the city, right? By yourself or with your roommates. Completely different animal. Back then, the job market wasn't the greatest. So even though I moved back with my parents, I was still applying for positions. And a buddy came to me, and he had an office in Long Island, New York, and says, "Hey, Ken, look, I know you have a lot of sales experience. We're doing loan modifications, helping a lot of people basically restructure their loans, right? And saving them from foreclosure. Would you want to come and join us? And, I'll pay you X amount of salary." And I said, "Listen, I don't think I have a choice right now. I got to pay my bills, right?" So it kind of just fell into my lap. And that's kind of where it all starts, right? I figured out what mortgages were, loss mitigation departments of banks, why people would, how they were dealing with foreclosures, what a short sale was, everything that had to do with non-performing assets, right? That's kind of where my journey began. So again, if you remember 2000 market crash, a lot of people were getting introduced to real estate, whether you were a buyer or a seller or someone just in distress, right? There were things that were popping up that no one knew about that existed, and all of a sudden that those were turned into huge opportunities, right? For investors. They were, people, what we call nowadays bird dogs. I didn't even know there was a name for it, right? I was just calling myself a middleman, right? But then the networking started, right? The buy side, the sell side, and the networking grew over time. I got introduced to investors, wholesalers, other specialists that were short sale specialists, and everybody in between. And I realized people were making a lot of money off of this, right? And people were, basically processing short sales, dealing with REO agents, getting, foreclosures, whether it was an auction house, whatever it was. But everyone that was within real estate were now getting involved in real estate investments one way or another, right? So I was doing the same. My network grew. And, the best part about this is once I started making this money, I realized I didn't really need a license, and I didn't understand that. And people were like, "No, it's a highly unregulated industry. Unless you're looking to sell a listed property, you don't need a license." I'm like, "Really?" So I could just keep doing this for the rest of my life. I mean, if you have the connections, why not? So I was brokering off-market private deals to investors, getting them from my sell side, sending them to my buy side, and they were, giving me money. And so it wasn't substantial, but it was enough to help me pay my bills and get me through month to month, right? But over time, just like everything good in life, it all must come to an end. So the banking regulations started kicking in. They started getting stricter on like the short sale processing. The REOs started tightening up because guess what? Banks don't look good when they have their balance sheets are aren't liquid, right? And they're holding non-performing assets. So once those non-performing assets have been cleared off, they could slow down the releasing of these properties, right? So the deal started drying up, the restrictions getting tighter, and everyone's like, where are these deals now? All of a sudden, now you have the same 10 or 20 investors that are fighting over that same one or two deal. And guess what happens to me? They're like, we don't really need you because, Ken, you've already introduced us to 5 or 10 of your sellers. We've already closed with them. And now that we don't have these spreads, we really can't afford to pay you your $5,000. I'm like, really? That's interesting. Now that you know my contacts, you're making $100,000, but you can't afford to pay me. Okay, not a problem. But what can you do? It's an unregulated industry. I didn't have the paper to basically protect me. And again, I was fairly a novice at this.
Mm.
So, the circumventing started, right? The investors wanted to deal direct with the sellers. Obviously, this happens, I would say, everywhere, right? Not just America. I'm sure this happens internationally. And the services that are you can't protect yourself with are no longer needed, because how do we protect ourselves in the unregulated industry? How do we do that? So it was a bummer, to say the least. So I had to start going back into interviewing. I was going broke, so I was like, look, I got a little bit of money left. I got to get a job because I don't want to be a burden on my parents. I'm living here. I've been making a little bit of money here and there, but this is, now I'm like, 20, going to be about, 28, 29 years old. And, I have to start working. So what happens is that one day I come up with an idea, and I'm thinking about my experience with software and technology, and how technology overall, not just in real estate, is helping people fill certain gaps. And this is just how my brain works, right? Out of the box thinking. And I'm just sitting there one day, and I'm like, and I call Phil. I'm like, Phil, what if we just create a website for investors? A website that just basically allows investors to pick out properties that are being uploaded by sellers. They can't circumvent us, and we'll just charge them for it, right? And then I started looking into like the auction.coms, which is an auctioning site, and the Hubzoos, which is again auctioning site. But there wasn't really anything that just charged a subscription, right, to be able to connect with each other. So that's where it all came. And he's like, "Listen, man, I'm all in. Sounds like a good idea. How are you going to get this done?" I'm like, "Let's build a website. Let's start working on it. Let's pay somebody to build a website." And believe it or not, Graham, that's the actual website.
Yeah. Yep. That's the original one.
That's the original website with the not such a great look. I mean, maybe to some. Look at how horrendous that logo is. I mean, we came up with this logo. We thought it was the best logo in the world, but we tried, and it was like, this is not working. But we're gonna stick to it because we keep wasting money every time we design something, every time we build something. Not great. No, it was not. But we kept trying. So we knew very quickly, like, if we wanted this thing to become successful, we really needed to get the right people involved, right? We had to get the right developers, we had to get the right team members. So guess what? We reached out and we looked online and we searched high and low for developers and said, look, we need somebody to be able to see our vision. We need somebody that'll be able to follow our business model and understand the concept. So we got the developers, and they were like, sure, Ken, we'll do this. But what the heck is this? Like, I understand what you're trying to do, but to them, it wasn't making sense, right? Like, business wise. And I'm like, look, this is my idea. You just have to build it, right? So then here we go. The development starts, and the design starts. And actual screens, by the way, from the first design of Flipit, right? That was the first application design, right? But they still weren't seeing our vision. I'm like, short sales, regular sales, REOs, pre-foreclosures, login, and let's just, work on this and just keep hoping to make it better. But mind you, Graham, what's happening? I'm working full time. I'm working on Flipit day and night to figure out if that was the right vision. And you know what? What goes on through every entrepreneur's mind? Maybe we're not doing enough. Maybe we're not doing it the right way. Maybe the business model's not working because the look, the feel, the experience, and everything in between. So we tried everything, including getting into rentals and home services back then, fixing properties like the Angie's List and getting into rentals alongside the off-market deals. We wanted to be the jack of all trades, right? But you know what they say? You try to be a jack of all trades, you're a master of none. And we were trying to accomplish a heck of a lot. And even though the design aspect, mind you, this is our third iteration. It, like I said, it looked better, it looked cleaner, it looked nicer. It started looking like a real app. But at the same time, we wanted to make sure that it was going to work, and it was a nail biter. You don't know if it's going to work. You just got to try. You got to keep building and try. So we don't know if we were biting off more than we could chew. But there's no turning back now. It's ready to go. It's 2021. We just got to pray, make sure it works, Graham, right? We got to launch. There's no turning back now. We're already tens of thousands of dollars into this thing. And one day we launched, and guess what? It came alive. We launched on App Store, Google Play. People started uploading properties. This is our own backyard, and there was a lot of deals to be found. But guess what we were doing? Every time we launched a new version, there was an error, there was a bug, and I didn't know anything about the back end operations of building technology, because remember, all of these years I had a consumer facing role, so I was front office, right? I didn't know what was happening on the back end. This is my first go around, so now I'm like, wow, why is this bug happening? Why is that bug happening? And bug testing, let me tell you, if anybody knows about technology, not easy. So every time we would get a download on this side, we would have a client leave on this side. So at the end of the day, we would get 50 downloads, but then we would lose 25. We'd get 50, we'd lose 25. And we'd never really accomplish anything, because it's constantly working. But at the end of the day, when we started regrouping, we knew that we had to build something that revolved around networking, because we knew, just like I started on the streets as a bird dog or middleman, however you want to call it, I only built this because the network I have, and that's what allowed me to be somewhat successful. So we had to build practical tools for the modern real estate world and let people network seamlessly. We knew that was the case, and that was going to be our core focus. So guess what? If this doesn't give away my age, I don't know what does. We had to create the perfect Voltron, Graham, right? We had to create the perfect Voltron and be able to create the perfect pioneering real estate product. And the Voltron, for those of you out there who don't know Voltron, it's a bunch of pieces and cats and robots that connect together to make this perfect, well-oiled machine, right? That takes that protects the universe, right? So we had to create the perfect tools and applications to allow our users to utilize our product, right? We had to make it intuitive. We had to make it interactive. We knew this right away. We wanted to make a real estate investment platform to allow our users to get full user controls. So here we go. I call Phil again years later. I know he's been asking me, what's the update? So I call him, like, yo, Phil, where are you, man? Listen, I got an idea. We got to do it this and this way, and I need your help. I can't do this on my own. And yes, by the way, Phil dresses like that when he plays video games. He takes his video gaming very seriously. And
Nice.
we joke about this all. We joke about this all the time. I don't know if you can see the resemblance with Batista.
Well, yeah. It's a bit of Men in Black going on there, isn't it?
Yeah. So that's Phil, our CEO. But I caught him playing video games. And he's like, I'm in, Ken. Let's do this. What do you need my help with? So he came on as my operations manager. We had to build out the best team. So we contacted a new group of developers. We had to get the designers. And now also we realized all those clients we're losing on the back end, we need to build a CRM system on the back end. And we need to get a CRM expert to be able to create automations, to be able to nurture and make sure we're communicating with all the people that are downloading the application, and marketing as well, right? We're not going to grow if we don't have this. So for those of you guys don't know who Patrick Yep is, big shout out to Patrick, big shout out to Henry. He's in Europe right now. He's our creatives director. And of course, big shout out to Justin Lee, who helps us with the back end automations. And of course, awesome individuals like Graham that do these podcasts to make sure we get the message out to you guys. So here we go. Flip it, team assemble, right? Everybody full hands on deck. And if you guys don't know the Kevin Costner movie, The Field of Dreams, I knew if I build it, they will come. If you build it, they will come. And I'm like, we're gonna build it. So now, again, keeping our core values and our mission at the forefront, a community-based application, allowing people to network and giving them the full controls, we started building. We were going to aim for the stars, Graham. We were going to aim for the stars. We're going to test out the beta. The beta, for you guys that don't know what beta means, we actually had the version on App Store and Google Play while we were in a testing environment, playing around and building the new version while you guys were actually using the old version, which wasn't so great. So we kept testing to make sure that we fixed everything we needed to fix. The features, the functions, the the user experience, everything that we needed to fix, we were working on, right? So again, we knew that real estate investments, it's all about, creativity. We know that because if you imagine, Graham, whether you're a buyer or a seller, when you put a project into contract, right? A property into contract. What do you have to do? You have to use creative financing, creativity, right? How you can source deals. You have to be very creative. You have to use some certain skill sets, even down to actually spending the money to rehab it. You have to become creative, right? People don't realize this. Like real estate's creative, right? Building it obviously is creative, right? Fixing things, designing it, making it nice. But you really have to use creativity. So you know what? We were going to have a technology that met your needs. We had to use the creativity, right, to empower us to build the perfect application that was immersive, allow you guys out there to communicate seamlessly. And user experience was everything. For those of you out there, like, we get this all the time, Graham. What differentiates you from so and so? And listen, great question. I know you're asking me this because you haven't downloaded the app yet. Because once you download the app, it's clear as day that there is a substantial difference. So we created user experience, as you've seen, Graham, to make sure that was at the forefront, right? It was the out of the box thinking that was going to make the magic happen. It was truly out of the box, the solution that we created. It wasn't something that was done before. It wasn't similar to those MLS and public record databases, which are great, right? And there's a time and place for them, but some people just don't want to generate reports on their desk. It wasn't going to be another, public record lead generation company. That's not what we were aiming for. We really want to be unique and create a unique experience and pioneer technology that never existed before. That's why it took this long. That's what we had. That's the hurdles we had to face. So it's time for you guys to try something fresh and new. Let everybody connect seamlessly through the technology to individuals and people and your communities, not just a data warehouse in the cloud somewhere, or put you on a CRM to save leads. No. You guys are going to now connect with each other, and that's what we're building. And this was a long time coming, Graham, because I think this industry needed that. They needed full transparency, being able to connect with each other, being able to, showcase deals, source deals together, because it's the network that's empowering our community. So why wouldn't we just let the network communicate with each other? And you know what? We knew we finally built something right, and we're going to keep at it. It was the final countdown. We're ready to go. And here we go. So we launched in May. We launched in May. And here we go. This is the Flipbit 4.0. Everybody was waiting for it. Immersive experience, easy to use. With a ton of features and functions in there, with like voice notes, uploading. You could upload a deal in under 15 seconds with pictures and a voice note. You could source a deal within seconds on the map, right? And it applies to everybody that's, a wholesaler, an investor, a realtor, a broker, a real estate specialist, acquisitions, dispositions. Every real estate enthusiast out there has some feature or function they can use with their day-to-day operations, right? The features, even including the buy boxes for investors. We created Find My Deal. They can notify the rest of their community on a daily basis that you're looking for a specific type of deal, right? So we knew that this is your real estate investment application because it's you guys out there that empower this and make this thing work. As the community grows, the application gets bigger and stronger. So there's a lot of people out there that say, Ken, I don't see deals in my neighborhood. Well, if you don't see any deals, but maybe you get a couple that come across your desk, maybe you should upload them, because you know what? Somebody's going to connect with you directly, and then that is going to create a ripple effect. One deal is going to turn into 2 deals, which is going to turn into 4 deals, which is going to turn to 8 deals. So everybody has to do their part. It is a community-based application. So you guys definitely motivated us to build the right technology that we absolutely needed. So again, real estate networking was at the core of this, and that's why we built this for the community, right? We wanted to help. We wanted to help all you guys, right? To not be able to go through that journey alone. So the moral of the story, and this is I would like to mention, as I mentioned earlier, this story is about, not what's happening to us based on our struggles. It's happening for us because the universe has bigger plans for us, Graham, right? Just trust the process. The universe is there to help us and guide us. And if we didn't go through those struggles, we wouldn't be here today. And you know what? That's what this story is about. It's about the dreamers out there, the hustlers, the people that do not give up, right? That may not be able to get one deal sold or two deals bought or whatever it is, but just keep at it. Believe in yourself, right? And all we're doing is helping you guys have the right technology in your hand, which we've built, which is live. We believe in you guys. So again, if you want a road to financial independence with Flipbid, the choice is yours. It's up to you guys now, right? We gave you the tools. It's up to you to decide. Which route are you guys going to take?
Red pill or blue pill?
That's right. That's right, Graham.
Yeah.
Where are you gonna go? So with that said, I definitely want to say thank you. And that's the wrong bald guy. You're speaking to this bald guy, but I do like this quote from Jeff Bezos, and I firmly believe in it. I used to have it in my signature on my emails. Every time, Graham, you figure out some way to write tools, or in so many words, create technology and services for people to deploy their creativity, you're really onto something. And guess what? We deployed an application for you guys to show your creativity, your deals, your involvement in this industry. And it's going to be big because you know why? Because this network is huge. Only difference is you haven't heard about us yet. So hopefully you'll hear about us from Grant Solomon's Thunder from the Down Under podcast. With that said, I'm going to go ahead and give this back to Graham, but thank you for hearing our story, everyone.
No, thank you for sharing that. Beautiful. And Ken, like if someone's watching this and they say they're a wholesaler or something, what are the key benefits? Like, I mean, one of the things that I noticed is you can do it just straight off your phone. So we've gone from pre-COVID to going and checking into someone's house, knocking on the door, going with your folder, doing all that stuff. COVID accelerated, basically opened up the virtual markets big time. Now, I mean, then we'd sit in our offices on the computers doing virtual stuff. Now, this pretty much works off your phone. I mean, you can use it on your desktop or your laptop, but basically straight off your phone, you can run your business off your phone now. You almost could do it without a computer. So, do you want to just say for instance, if a wholesaler's watching this, how would you explain it to them? Like the benefits of them jumping on Flipbid and what they can do, down to contracts, down to this, down to that, all the stuff that links together within the application.
Yeah, so great question. So specifically for the wholesaling side and being able to find leads and like sourcing things and being able to eventually get something contracted, and then hopefully at some point, disposed, right, and sold on the application. It's very quick, right? And if you don't mind, I could show them exactly how this works.
I'd like you to, because I think you almost need a visual for this. To see how what's on there. Like, it's just amazing, all the stuff that it stores past when you've had a property on there. It stores it. It's sort of almost like a CRM. It keeps it in there so you can look at all the stuff that you've been through. So yeah, I'd like to bring it up, Ken, because I think it's really important. And once again, we could ask the same question for realtors, for this, for that. So I think people will get the drift once they actually see the application and what they can actually do.
Yeah, so without further ado, I'll go ahead and share my screen. Just let me know if you see that on your end.
Yeah, here it comes. There
awesome. So for those of you guys out there, this is the Flipbid application as shown during our Flipbid story. And all I'm doing is I have my iPhone in my hand, and I'm just going to go ahead and move around with my thumb, right, and show you that what the map kind of looks like. And again, we were reaching for the stars. So I always like to say, once you open up the application, we automatically take it out of space, right? So all you're doing is you're moving around, you're checking out location to location. You'll see a lot of properties. I mean, we've had a phenomenal turnout, Graham, since we launched. I mean, so all of those little IDs are verified investors, and people are clicking right away on and off. To be honest with you, I think Graham Solomon is even a verified investor. And
there he is. There he is.
Yeah, I have to find. I have to
No,
find your first.
I think you got to go right. I think you're in South Australia. I'm in. There we go. We're down. No,
Are you
straighten
down
up.
in Sydney or Melbourne?
Melbourne, just
Okay.
on the border, just up a bit. I'm on the Murray River, which is up. No,
Okay. I
keep
don't know
going
if we're
up.
gonna find them, but
Yeah, I think I can see it there. Is that no?
once you scroll into a specific point, I mean the ID should pop up. But you had an
I'm
ID
there.
because I know
Yeah, I'm
you
there.
had an ID.
Yep,
You're
on the
definitely
map.
there. I just can't seem to locate you. But
Yeah,
again, there's investors that are populating, internationally, right?
yeah.
Because there are international buyers. But at the end of the day, going back to your question, how do we go ahead and source deals and be able to basically find leads? So we created a way. And by the way, I have a treat for everybody that's listening. We're going to give you a little sneak peek about what we're building with distressed property specifically after I'm done with it. So let's say you want to go and venture out to a specific market. You could just punch in the address there, or you could punch in a city and state. So let's go to, West Palm Beach, Florida. It's always, it's always pretty nice over there. So it'll go ahead and navigate you right into the location you're asking for. And here we go. We're in West Palm Beach, Florida. So if you are a wholesaler and let's say you were just moving around and you can see obviously the streets are all listed, but let's say I don't have a full address, but you are a wholesaler and something came across your desk for a piece of property in West Palm Beach. And let's focus on maybe this guy right here. Some nice houses, as you can see in this area.
Yeah.
Right? So let's say you found this property, it was a wholesale deal, or maybe you were digital door knocking or physically, driving for dollars, and you found this. Well, guess what? Now all you have to do is press your thumb down, pin the property. It'll pin the property for you. Mind you could just be drinking coffee on a Sunday morning. You don't have to drive anywhere. You just got an address. You put the address in, 218 Belmont Road, West Palm Beach. Request data. Within seconds, we have the data pulled. Now, what would you do? You're going to view property. Once you view the property and you want to make sure, and it's going to be a beautiful area, it seems like. So we're going to click on the street view, look around. There we go. Makes me want to go down to sunny Florida right now, right? Beautiful area. And here we go. Here's the house. Let's say it's probably this one, the one we were looking at. Yeah. So here's the house. Now, all you would do is basically, and I'm going to screenshot this, by the way, for everybody that's listening out there. It's anybody has a smartphone can screenshot. I'm going to do it now. And there's a reason why I'm screenshotting the picture, because we're going to need this picture to be able to upload this deal later. So I'm going to hit the done button on the top left, save it to my photos, hit the back button on the top left, and I'm back to Flipbid. And here's a 4-bed, 2-bath property, 12,000, square feet. It would probably be the lot. And property information is all here. Yep, lot size, building square feet. It's a big house, 3,112 square feet, built in 1950, 6,500. 6,500 for property taxes. I'm not sure if you guys lost me there for a second, but here's the sales comps. And remember, it took what? How long, Graham, did it take? A millisecond to pull all this data?
And driving for dollars with your thumb from Australia. That's what I'm saying. Like that, it's just amazing. And let's say I want to ring them. I think, well, so instead of having to pull a list, send it to get skip trace and that, what's next,
Yep.
Ken?
So here you have the mortgage data, right? So James and Jean Moore seem like they own the property. That's right on the mortgage data. They bought it for $187,000 back in 2016. What a difference! $2.7 million properties now. Okay, so wow. So these guys have a tremendous amount of equity, right? $2.7 million. Beautiful. I wish I should have bought. I should have bought some properties back then. MLS history, it's all there. But guess what? Great question, Graham. You want to be able to ring these people, connect with them. If you press the back button and click on your profile, every time you visit a property on Flipbid, which we consider my visits, because you're virtually visiting a property, whether you're in New York, whether you're in Texas, or in Melbourne, Australia, you're still visiting a property. Once you visit a property, it shows up in my visits, and you can click on that. And from here, you can skip trace data. So here is, by the way, the way it's listed is the ones you skip traced already are on the top because we prefer that tend to think that the properties you skip trace are the more important ones, and then all the properties you visited, because you could visit hundreds of properties, right, are on the bottom. So here's 218 Belmont Road, West Palm Beach. All I would do is click the check button. You could select all or select one. It's up to you. We're going to select one for now. Click on the skip trace button. Click OK, and that property will now go to the top of your list, right? The last one, skip trace, ends up on the top. Now, before you go ahead and make a phone call or whatever it is, or do your skip tracing, we have a ROI calculator placed everywhere in this application. So it's a quick and dirty ROI calculation to see if it's even worth it, right? And just putting your basic information when you hit the submit button. I always recommend you use this because why would you make a phone call if it's not worth it to you, right? But then it's skip trace. Let's click on the property. Same deal. Here you go, 218 Belmont Road. Skip trace information, and here you go. So here's James and Jean Moore. That's their phone number, and you don't even have to leave the application. You don't have to leave your seat. You don't have to jump in your car. Just make the phone call right from your phone. And if they're not picking up, click on their email. Click on their email, and it'll connect your email to their email, your registered email, and send them out an email. Hey, interested in your home, whatever it is, right?
Mm.
And that's it. And email them. If they don't pick up, you could try a couple times. We're not going to stop you from making multiple phone calls. But again, here's an opportunity for you to be able to digitally door knock, skip trace, make phone calls, create real-time opportunities. And did you even leave your house yet, Graham?
I haven't left the computer. That's what I'm saying. You haven't left your desk, your office. So
right.
That's
or you haven't left the beach if you're out with the kids.
Well, that's another thing. If you're at the coffee shop, whatever, you're there with your phone. You don't even need to carry your laptop around. You don't need to do anything. You can have your phone there, bang. So that's where it's gone to the next level. That's what I'm saying. Look, this is. I remember, say a year ago or 2 years ago, going, "Oh, I wish I could get this stuff on my phone. It'd be great if and some of the stuff you could, but others you couldn't, and you couldn't link them together. So this is all linked on your phone, so you can pretty much do it from there."
Absolutely. So let me you're in for a treat, guys. So we actually just discussed this, me and my operations team, literally this week. So there's been a lot of questions for those of you out there asking, can I find distressed properties on your application? And I said, not as of yet, but what we are going to be building, and I can show you right from here. Imagine this, Graham. Let's close out of this. That you could basically create a polygon filter. And for those of you who don't know what a polygon filter is, you'll be able to press a button right from your home screen, create a radius. Let's create the radius right here of all of these properties. And a blue pin will pop up on 2 of the 3 properties that are in pre-foreclosure. Now, because you pinned those properties, you can go back to your profile page. And instead of just my visits with skip trace, it'll be my visits with a skip trace data and a distressed property data, and skip trace just those 3 or 4 pinned distressed properties to be able to help that homeowner and be able to create an opportunity for yourself with distressed properties. Again, did you do anything? Did you leave your house? Did you leave your kids? Did you can still do that from this home, and that's going to be available within the next 2 months.
Beautiful. And another thing too that a lot of people ask, Ken, with any new application or anything like that is, well, what about buyers? Once I've got a deal, what do I do with buyers? And you've taken care of that as well. You've put that all in the platform as well.
Oh yeah. So the beautiful part about this is, like, we have buyers, right? Everybody thinks that, hey, you have to be a verified investor and on your application to be a buyer. That's not true. And I tell everybody, it depends what hat you decide to wear in the morning, right? So if I am a seller and I just decide to upload a deal onto Flipbid, I'm a seller. But guess what? If a lucrative opportunity, I find something that catches my eye, and I want to go ahead and click on one of those icons, right? And be able to say, look, I like this deal, click on it. Well, guess what? Now I'm a buyer, right? You can't think of, people tend to think that individuals should have a specific role and that they should be attached to that role permanently. But imagine, right? Graham, you're a business owner, you're a father, right? You could be a husband, you could this, you could be a multitude of things. You don't have to be one person, right? Just like you don't have to be a buyer or a seller or an acquisitions person or dispositions. With this app, we do not consider you as a specific role. We just consider you a member of our Flipbit community. And today I decided to look into a property because I became cash heavy. I found a property, as I'm showing you now, in 201 Northwest 30th Avenue, and I view on the property. And guess what? We have deals on here. These are all members of our community. We're not connecting you to some database. It's sold from off-market deals, and all I have to do is click on the message button and send them a message, just like if you were to do that with WhatsApp. If you were to able to do that with your text messaging, it works the same way. They get a notification, they reply, you get a notification, or you just hit the call button. And when you hit the call button, you're just connecting them with them directly. It's a direct, seamless communication from user to every member of our community, Graham. So acquisitions, dispositions, research and data, all shown within 5 minutes.
Yeah, yeah, and also on top of that, there's other features in there. It's like stuff like contracts and different stuff that you can attach and send through the app without having to leave the app. It's similar.
Yeah, sure. I mean, you can attach those contracts. So if you request a deal and they say, "Hey, listen, send me a contract," you can attach them right to the message.
Yeah, that's right. So it can all be done out of the platform. So it's just amazing. So. Is there any other features you'd like to talk about, Ken?
Yes. So there's a lot happening, guys. So as you guys know, that software technology isn't consistent forever, right? The reason why it's software and technology, and we're in this industry, is because it's constantly evolving. It's constantly evolving to help facilitate or solve for a problem, right? It is creating a solution to an existing issue. And so issues arise all the time. So we are absolutely making this application bigger and better and faster. We're doing a ton of things that are incorporated into the real estate investment world. We'll be able to soon be able to do virtual tours from your home, right? So Graham Solomon can RSVP a property a seller or wholesaler is doing somewhere in Dallas, Texas, somewhere, because he's a big Texas fan, but he doesn't even really have to leave his house. He just has to just click on a button, say RSVP this property, and he's just viewing a property, a virtual tour, through a live stream, just like we're doing now, right? We can speak to each other. You'll be able to speak to the seller right through the phone, and the seller's just walking around and touring the house, the outside premises, the inside, the walls, the ceilings, the bedrooms, the baths, the living room, so everything. And you don't have to go anywhere. And just for doing that, you're going to get a full property report just for attending that virtual tour as an investor, delivered to you seamlessly right after that virtual tour is over in your registered email.
Yep, that's brilliant. And so what that does in layman's terms, Ken, is you've got someone there, let's say you're in virtual markets, you've got your boots on the ground there, they do a virtual tour. You haven't got people walking around trying to talk to the seller and trying to walk around the back and find out and undermine you. It's all done virtually. So you can actually book it. You can have 6-8 people say that they're going to watch it virtually, and it gives you that opportunity that you can be in markets all over the country. You haven't got people sneaking around trying to talk to your seller, and
circumventing you, absolutely. So imagine this, right, Graham? Sticking to wholesalers. What do wholesalers want? They want to drive traffic to their asset. They want to sell it. So guess what? We're going to drive traffic to your asset virtually. So what we're going to solve for, the no-shows, It happens. You get caught up with life. Life takes over. You got family, other things to deal with, right? Sometimes, as much as someone loves to view properties because they're an investor and they're interested, sometimes life takes over, right? So the no shows, we're going to fix that problem, because how hard is it to just open up the app because the tour is starting on a
Yeah.
rainy Sunday morning? And two, the latecomers. So now you're a wholesaler, and you also, time is money, right? Have a specific time allotted to show to have a viewing, right, for this property. But then you have the two latecomers that are going to be an hour late. So now, do you want to give up the opportunity and potentially be able to lose that sale? No, you're going to stick around, and now you're wasting 2, 3, 4 hours for the latecomers. And so you don't have to do that. You can manage all that within a 30-minute time slot and be on your way and continue with your day.
Yeah. So, for instance, if there's latecomers or whatever, they just get the live stream sent to them, recorded and sent to them.
Well, it's not a pre-recorded live stream. It's happening live, right?
Oh, okay. So can it be like, if someone can't get there and they still request a copy, can they get a copy, or can it be downloaded or anything like that?
Yeah, so we're working on that, Graham. We're trying to see if we can get this done and past the regulations and security measures for YouTube, Instagram, TikTok. As you can understand, like, we're not their technology, they're not our technology. For us to connect, there's security measures, and I don't expect everybody out there to understand that, but there's a lot of struggles to connect that. But we have all intentions of, if this works, be able to upload that 30-minute live stream to all of the sellers URL portals, URL links for their specific social media channels: Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube.
So another question for you, Ken, with that is, so let's say you got a boots on the ground. They're booked in for 11 a.m. Eastern Standard to 11:30. If they got there at 10:30 and just did a video, they could still send that through the application, the video.
No, they cannot. No, they have to be live. Otherwise, it'll be like a store that said they were going to open at 10 a.m. But now you got a line down the block at the butcher shop, and the butcher hasn't opened the store yet, right? So that's what's going to happen. We expect everyone to, in some form or fashion, to be responsible for what they're trying to present on the application. And usually people tend to take this pretty seriously when they know and they're getting notified that there's going to be an RSVP of 1 investor, 2 investor, 3 investor, 4 investor, but when you're done with the RSVP tour, you're going to get a list of everybody that attended, first name, last name, email, so on, so you can contact them. That's pretty important. So I'm pretty sure you want to get that list of attendees. You want to, 1, obviously sell the property or investment. 2, get the list of attendees, and 3, get that full report with liens and judgments and open permits, including comps and nearby listings and all that stuff. That's very important.
And once again, I guess we go back to the fact that all you got to do is have your phone there and you can watch the live stream, can't you? So everyone's got their phone on them all the time. So there's not much chance that you're not going to be able to watch it. I mean, it'd have to be an emergency or something's come up pretty serious. So you can't just sit there, at the kids' sport and just watch that, have a bit of a look at that, or at the cafe.
That's right. And put your Bluetooth earpiece in so you can speak to the seller.
Yeah, that's right. So
if you don't want to bother everybody, we have a lot of technology out there that can assist with this. I mean, look, it's a pretty common sense, right? We have a phone, and nowadays these phones have pretty high resolution cameras. Everything that you need to see in a property can be shown from your home. And by the way, yes, the web app is coming around by the holidays this year. So, if you want to watch it in the bigger screen on your laptops, your desktops, you'll be able to do that. It'll be everything you're seeing on the application on your computer.
Yeah, it's brilliant. It's brilliant. So, no, awesome. Thanks, Ken, for running us through all that. So, I'll just get you, if people want to reach out to you at all, find out any more information, what's the best way to get in contact with you?
Yeah, so the email is pretty clear. There's going to be 2. So if you guys are having any difficulties or you just need some help, if you don't want to go through the app, because we do have through our or your profile page a support button,
Yep.
you can always email us at support@flipbid.com. But if you want to just connect with us and finding out what's late and great and what's happening with Flipbid and just, stay in touch, it's Let's Network at flipbid.com. So that's LETSNETWORK at flipbid, 2P's, 2D's, flipbid.com.
Beautiful. And in the ticker there, on the screen, we've got a, before you come on, you said, look, I want to do a 20% discount on the monthly pro license. It's an exclusive offer for anyone that watches live or watches the replay. So you've just got to hit that link there, copy that link and jump on there, and you get a 20% discount. Yeah, so
that's right.
Just check the ticker. And I've got it in. I've got the link above it as well. But yeah, so that's brilliant, Ken. I appreciate you coming on and telling us the story of Flipbid and how you got it all put together, showing us, like a demo of what you can actually do. And there's more stuff you can do, but obviously
there's a lot of stuff coming.
Limited time. So yeah, it's amazing. It's and what this does is makes just life more and more easy, and you know, off your phone and in the one place. So I think that's what life's getting faster and faster. So that's what people want now. They want to be able to just grab their phone, go bang, bang, bang. I've got 15 minutes here. I want to jump on here, do what I've got to do. And then I'm going to go over there and do that. Then I'll jump back. So it makes it more accessible rather than having to set up the laptop, go to an internet cafe, go here, there, whatever. It's there on your phone.
It's on the fly, and it's instant gratification. And you hit your objectives much easier from the buy and sell side and shorten that due diligence period.
Yeah,
absolutely. That's what that's exactly what we created for the user experience.
And like you said, you've only launched a month ago, and it's growing and growing each week. It's growing and growing, and more people are getting attracted to it. So it's going to end up pretty much that if you're not on it, you're going to miss out on stuff that's there. I mean, like you said, you've got the driving dollars, but there's going to be deals there. There's going to be people on there like a bit of a marketplace, like looking around, connected right across the country in all markets. So it's pretty exciting. You must be pretty excited about your product that you worked hard to get up and running.
Yeah, I'm excited. And with that said, I just want to thank you, Graham. And by the way, guys, if you're still with us and if you decide we're offering this for the next 90 days during our growth phase, it is free to download and use, and it will stop you after X amount of like requesting data or viewing properties or skip traces. You don't want this thing to stop. You don't want to be, you don't want to be limited to what you need to do. But because we're doing an exclusive offer for Graham Solomon's Thunder from the Down Under podcast, if you guys can manage to upload 2 deals off market, because I'll find out, because we have MLS data on it too, so it's got to be unlisted, right? Yes. If you upload 2 properties anywhere in the nation, okay, we will give you a full 30-day trial, and you can use it as much or little as you like. You won't be cut off. You'll get the full license for everyone that uploads 2 properties. Your license will turn into the pro license for a full 30 days to be able to play around with this thing and network with people and just hop to it. Like I said, and by the way, when you're ready to purchase, 20% off your monthly subscription. And by the way, I don't think they know how much it is, but I'll let you know, Graham. It's under $100. It's $99 only, exclusively with Graham's link, when you decide to take advantage of all of these features and functions.
Yep. Beautiful. All right, Ken, we'll wrap it up. Appreciate you coming on. Like I said, I know how much work you've put into this. I know that you, like you said, you want it to evolve. You want to keep it growing, and you want to keep improving it. So, the sky's the limit. And, like other people within the industry, we'll try and get it out as much as possible. Any tools that make life easier for realtors, wholesalers, investors, we're all for it. So congratulations on the launch a month ago, and guys, get behind Ken and at least check it out. Like you said, you can check it out free, navigate around it a bit, and then join up. So once you see it, you'll want to be a part of it.
All right. And by the way, guys, we're going to do one last thing. For all of you guys that need demos, right through the application. I know it's a new feature and function, new technology. We're providing you guys all the support. So thank you, Graham. I appreciate you having me on your podcast.
Well done, mate. Congratulations. And thanks for joining us from New York. And it's always a pleasure to catch up with you.
Thank you so much for having our back, Graham. Thank you. You have a
No
wonderful
worries.
day. Bye, guys. Thank you.
All right, see you guys. Thanks for joining us.